So a great pleasure today to be here again in this occasion of the holy month of Ramadan al-Mubarak. To vivify it with Sheikh Maudul Muntakha Mbacké, but with all the Murids and the Muslim community in Senegal and worldwide. As usual, we will do our best to talk with you about an important aspect of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba's mission. I mean his literary production. As you know, in his mission in the service of Allah and the Prophet, Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba has bequeathed to humanity a very rich and a very important literary production. A literary production dedicated to Allah, to glorify the Lord Almighty, but also dedicated to his message, to show the high rank of the Prophet, the favors relate to his person, but also dedicated to his companion, those courageous people who were with him, to his family, but also a holy production dedicated to the Holy Quran. This is, in general, the main topics and the main themes that we have in Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba's literary production that we are always chanting here during this occasion of the holy month of Ramadan. Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba has written a lot, and his writings are so intensively countless that he says himself, Karamati Khatuyadi, meaning that my miracles are what I have written with my hands. Yes, it is a true miracle, but if you observe the long life suffering of the man, his movement from one place to another place between the hands of the colonial power, how busy he was, you cannot imagine the quantity of that production, but also the richness, I mean the quality of the production. Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba is matchless. He is more than a match. If you compare him with Al-Kahf, Al-Hassan, Al-Busayri, I mean those famous writers who was living in the period of the Prophet. He has written in various topics of Islam. His aim was only to show, to deliver to humanity a message in which, as I said, he expressed his gratitude to Allah, the Lord, the Almighty. He showed the higher rank of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, to admire the courage of his companion, to count the famous Islamic events and victories, to tell the charisma and the favors related to the Holy Quran, but also to show his own dedication himself, the Sheikh Aymin, to serve Allah in the path of the Prophet, to pay tribute to Allah himself for all this benediction and gratitude he bestowed to him, I mean Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba. For the Sheikh also, he used his poem as a weapon to combat the infidels, to call them to Allah and to the right path, I mean Islam. Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba has also written in Sëñ Mansour in various Islamic topics to make clear some of the Islamic practices, to help people know the true message of Islam, but to help people know how to worship Allah correctly with no problem. So that literary production of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba was various in many topics. But also what is important in the writing of the man, so as to consider his writing as miracle, is the literary techniques Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba himself used. The Sheikh has used literary techniques that were unknown by the predecessors, but also unknown by his companion. So that was a divine light, as he said, Lubi munawarun bi nuril wahyi wa khada li khayral hulumi wahyi. My mind, my spirit is illuminated by a divine light that helped me write what I'm producing. He also told to Allah the Almighty, Nawarta Lubbiya bi nuril wahyi. You, my Lord, you have illuminated my mind, my spirit by a divine light. That is why the writing of the man is not something out of reflection, out of imagination, but it is only a gift from Allah. That is why it is really a miracle. And he also say, إذا كتبت انتزع عرش الباقي وسبح الملائكة باقي, mean whenever I'm writing, the angels and the throne of Allah sways, and express their gratitude to the Lord. To conclude, Saint Mansour, let's say that Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba's writing surpass in quantity and in quality to all the writers that we have known throughout the world, be it those who were writing in Islam, but also those who were writing in other topics. We cannot see someone compared to the man in terms of literary production. To conclude, let me say that the literary production, as you see, we are reading them, chanting them, collecting them in our families. Why? Because it is a spiritual food, a spiritual nourishment for the aspirants. Because of the benediction, because of the favors, but also because of the charisma that Allah Himself has shed on it. That is why the Sheikh said, "Tuwassilu akhlami ilallahi habida bila khalwatin wallahu abqa kama akhna." You who want to go next to the Lord, stick to my production, you will have that favor. That is why in this occasion again, we are congratulating the Murid and the Muslim community, but particularly Sheikh Muhammad Muntakha, who has given us that opportunity to take favors, to take benediction, to take bliss from the literary production of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba. As you have said, every 2 days there will be an English presentation of one topic. The context, the techniques, the different topics. Some scholars, some English scholars will come with you to take one of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba's poem in order to present it to the whole world. Thank you. That was a real pleasure. May Allah assist us and help us to vivify correctly this holy month, which is full of bliss, which is full of benediction. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jërëjëf Papa sant kon sant nañ bu baax ci loolu nga xam ne jotal nga ko ci anglais. Damay daal di dalal rek gi nga xam ne kon jeexital waxam dégg ngeen ko mooy dana am ñaari fan yu nekk danañ teg ñoo xam ne danañ wax ci anglais ci xasida yi leeral ko ngir ñi dégg anglais mën koo jëriñoo. kon duma def lu dul dalal kenn ci ñi nga xam ne ñoo war a jàng tey muy sëñ Mouhamadou Gaye. sëñ Mouhamadou Gaye moom bokk ci kuréelu almashrabu soofi ñoom ñoo ay njàng mi sëñ Modou tey yan xasida yi lay doon ak yan daaj lay doon incha allah.
waa kay jërëjëf Baye Mansour ñu ngi lay siyaare bu baax a baax xam naa tey suñu kuréel bii di almashrabu soofi minal manba ash-shafi ñi ngi fas yéene jàng ci xasida yi ubbee yaa xayra dayfin ata waa kër sëñ Masamba daaju waa kër sëñ Masamba buñ noppee teg ci xasida ramadaniya boo xam ni mi ngi tàmbalee barakalin nafion fi xayaat yi ñu ngi koy jàng daajub sëñ Mamadou Lamine Gueye buñ noppee dinañ ci teg lam yabdu ak matlabu shifa yi daajub sëñ Tafsir Diop boo xam ne Ibrahima Lo moo ko jàng buñ noppee teg ci xasida xadaaiqul fadail nga xam ne ba léegi it daaju sëñ Tafsir boo xam ne Ibrahima Lo moo ko jàng buñ noppee jàng xasida mashrabu saafi daaju baka sëñ Masamba buñ noppee tëjee ko farij ñaan bi.
jërëjëf sëñ Mouhamadou kon defe naan loolu leer na dégg ngeen xasida yi dégg ngeen daa ci kon ñu bàyyi ko mu dellu ndax xasida nga kuréel gaa ngi koy xaar sëñ Mouhamadou jërëjëf ñu ngi lay sant bu baax ci leeral yooyu nga xam ne nit ñi yëpp soxla nañ ko ngir mën a ànd ak yéen liggéey boobu kon ginnaaw kon ñii nga xam ne ñoom laa dalaloon nga xam ne ñoom jottali nañ leen li nga xam ne mooy war a am ci programme bi kon tey incha allah ginnaaw suba danañ tàmbaliwaat waxtaan ci anglais suba incha allah ñi yor a desk arabe bi ñoom ñooy war a présenter li nga xam ne mooy liggéey bi nga xam ne fas yéen nañ ko def ci wàllu almashar bu saafi kon dégg ngeen tamit sëñ Mouhamadou Gaye kenn ci waa kuréel gi nga war a jàng tey mu jottali leen xasida yi nga xam ne moom danañ ko jàng incha allah. Donc en ce premier jour du mois béni de Ramadan, nous sommes au niveau de la résidence des hôtes du Khalife à l'ouest de la grande mosquée de Touba. L'événement, vous le connaissez, vous êtes habitués. C'est un protocole immuable, c'est la déclamation des écrits de Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba